Thanks. My name's Jenna Guse, and today I'm going to be showing you my QMM 1001 Statistics for Data Analytics course from the fall 2019 semester that was contributed to the Show Me Your Moodle course page. So before I dive into the individual components, I just wanted to highlight that this is a high flex course. So it's laid out a little bit different than some other courses because even pre-COVID, we had students that would be participating live in class. I had students that I would never meet that participate fully asynchronously because they work full time and don't live in Sudbury. And we would also have students that did actually take advantage of the combined delivery model where they'd be in class most of the time, but if they had other responsibilities or even if there was bad weather, they would participate from home sometimes. So we had all three going on in this course. Also, this course was delivered to the analytics program, and we do try to use a more consistent format for that program when it was first set up. So a lot of the stuff that you'll see in here is actually similar to what Jessica had in her course, that we have these consistent blocks for contacting the professor on the side, for contacting the learning center, IT, they need help, etc. So all of those blocks, I think, help students to clearly know where to click when they have questions and get stuck. After my welcome to the course, I start with the instructor information, and that's really consistent for, like I said, most of the program pages within the analytics program. I always record a little video introduction for students because there's some that I never get to see face-to-face in class. They're completely online, so they get to meet me as well, even if they can't come to the classes, and then just give them my contact information in that separate first section. Getting started is what we essentially call the information for the course, like the course outline, topical outline. We have a program page that we link them to, the course textbook, and all of that important information. I also, again, have a quick video that actually just walks them through what each of the documents are so they kind of know what they're looking at. The assessment section is something I think really is helpful for students so that they aren't, like Chris said earlier, wading through all these links and they don't know where to find their tests. Everything is located in this one spot for assessments in the class. And we use a table to break down the different methods of assessment in the course so students know essentially exactly how they'll be evaluated right from the beginning of the semester. And all of the assessments are below that. In this course, it was mostly a module quiz and a module assignment in a specific software called R for each of the overall modules. So I think that's where I really wanted to focus next and spend some time on is the setup of the modules, because that part is specific to this course, that I chose to organize it by topic rather than by week, which I have sometimes done in the past, but this one is set up by topic so that some modules last longer than a week, some only last a week, because it's really grouping the content according to what is most related. And in each of the modules, they have a really consistent setup that I always started with a module video in general. Again, it's basically just breaking down the whole module to say how long it's going to take, when things will be due, what all the different links are. Usually I try to keep these short, like 2 minutes or less, just to say, here's the most important things we'll be learning in this module, and here's when your assessments due, etc. I do put the main learning outcomes or focus of the module in text also at the beginning of each of these modules before actually getting into the content. The content I broke down into 4 sections in this course: what they have to read, what they'll be doing in class. So if they're actually participating live in class, here are the notes that we'll be working through during our class time, as well as any links that they need for activities, etc., that we're completing live in class. The watch section, this was even before COVID. We always made little short videos to walk through students through the content in terms of the software. So R is a completely separate software that they have to learn to use. And instead of watching a 2-hour class recording, they can just watch like a 5-minute video on how to use one small function in R. So the students found that super helpful instead of having to search through the video, search the entire video for what they're struggling with. And then this complete section, which shows them what was due and kind of what everything they have to do, whether it's graded or not, for that module. And that's the, like I said, consistent format that I took for every single module. So they always know read, watch, in class, and then complete. I did decide to make some changes to this layout for this semester with COVID and everybody being online and not having that face-to-face delivery for most of the students in the program. So for the rest of my time, I just wanted to show you some of those changes and my Moodle shell for this semester. So one thing I decided to do is move all the blocks to one side to give myself more space, because I found that it could kind of be like you're scrolling down forever when you get to some of the long modules and there just wasn't enough space for everything in my old layout. So I think moving the blocks to one side did help with that. Um, because I moved all the blocks to one side, I also didn't want the blocks to be kind of this endless scroll. So I combined some of the old information that said like contact your instructor, contact the learning center, and all of those little blocks into a single block called help, where it's like email Jenna, email IT, the learning center, etc. And I also made a special QMM 1001 links block where I use some icons that students get quick access, that if they press this button, they'll automatically join the Zoom meeting for the week. They can quickly click on the course outline, course syllabus, etc. And there's also still the quick links that the hub added to the shell that gives them even more of those choices. So kind of all their help blocks are on the side. One thing I did for all of my courses this semester is right at the top under the welcome page, I have a link to a virtual course tour video. So this is something that I emailed out at the beginning of the semester to all students. It's a less than 10-minute video where I explain all the Moodle shell. So kind of like Jessica said, in terms of letting students have like a week to get used to the flow of the Moodle course, I tried to do that instead of with an assessment with a video that I told them where they'd find all the important information and where they should be looking within this video. Otherwise, the first three pieces of the course are mostly the same. What I just tried to do more intentionally is to add some text to give students more background so that they don't need to download like a whole bunch of PDFs to get all the information about their class schedule and delivery choices and Zoom links and things like that. I wanted to put as much as I could right there so students, as soon as they open the section, can see my contact information in my welcome video. As soon as they open the course information section, they see here's the Zoom link, here are our class times. And then some more extra information again in text. I added some more text again to try to make it more clear, and also some icons I tried to use more intentionally to mark a more clear learning path for students, because that's what I was most concerned about with this course moving online, because it is so technical that the learning path wouldn't necessarily be as clear. I also added like my late assessment policy that they have to contact me like prior to the due date if there's any extenuating circumstances or anything like that, right to the main page under the table of assessments so that they'd be able to see it. And again, recording some more videos to explain like the large assessment requirements so that if the student can't attend in class, they don't have to watch the whole 2-hour video of me answering individual student questions. They can just get a quick like 7-minute rundown of the entire assignment and what's required of them in that video. I think the biggest change, the last thing I wanted to talk about, is I switched up that read, in class, watch, complete layout a little bit and tried to use some more audio headings with, again, a little bit more text to describe what each heading is supposed to be. So I still explain the overall learning outcome for the module, but then I said that these are the class notes that we'll be using. Like if you're in class, here are the recorded Zoom classes for each day that we have class for this module. Again, the short videos that explain what to do in R, but I specifically explained that you'd probably want to use these if you're an asynchronous student instead of watching the full 2-hour lesson. So they can work through those videos on their own. And like I said, trying to use more icons to say that whenever you see this, this is the textbook reading it's associated with and the assessment that they have to complete for each of those modules, for each of the modules, sorry. So those are some of the changes that I made just to try to make it hopefully a little bit more clear this semester with everything being online. That was all I had to share. So if anybody has any questions, just let me know.